We're now reacting to Mark, a member of the K-pop group NCT, and his solo release in collaboration with rapper Lee Young-ji.
That's exactly.
Yes, his name is Mark. He's from Canada. And his solo release, Fraktsiya, or Fraktsiya, or Fraktsiya. Fraktsiya, with the rapper Lee Young-ji. This was released last year in 2024, and this about the pressures of the K-pop industry. This title is derived from the Russian word for infiltrator or spy, reflecting the song's exploration of navigating complex environments. The song is composed by Dress, Mark, Ron Rafsando, Jeffrey White, and Young-ji co-wrote the lyrics along with Mark. Okie dokes. We've been waiting very excitedly for this one. We heard like a few seconds and we're like, ooh, what's Mark up to now? Okay.
Yep. Isn't this a pre-release for his upcoming album or mini album? I think he's about to have, like in the next few months, his solo debut.
Ooh, fun.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Bullet.
Bullet says Mark and Young-ji on there.
Do they have all the producers? Every one of those bullets is a producer.
Whoa, what are those shoes?
Okay, some suspenseful soundtrack.
You don't notice. Now cause some parachute I popped it. 떨어진 pocket bombs and swapping coffins. Monsters conscious and it's all like that. Big bounce man and go ball like that. Territory not gene and you brought it back. True phone on why I came in the mosh pit. Ooh, mess of my face so glow up dress so polo.
This is rad. Okay, what?
Let's go.
What is going on?
I like the reverse delay.
This is Mark?
And we have the same percussion and bass as before, but it feels so different because he's emphasizing the beat so differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jersey, up.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh. What is this? This is like gym rat music.
Yeah.
Or at least that noise and sound effect.
I feel like it could be a little fuller mix.
Stray Kids reference?
They spelled it different. It can't be. I kind of like these background vocals that are sung that are lined up with his spoken word.
Yeah.
This groove is interesting because some of the sounds are like the same pitch, or they're close to the same pitch. So it all just sounds like 6-inch notes, but with just slight changes in the sound.
Goosebumps.
This is Young-ji.
The cockroach with the thumbs up, bro. Ooh, that's so harsh.
I feel like this is the most successful rap verse I've heard someone pull off in K-pop. At least like a female.
Bassoon? Leave it alone! Don't do anything to it!
The bassoon.
Fucking bassoonist? What is happening?
Yeah, I don't hear a bassoon unless they like made the sub
there is
out
no
of a
bassoon in the
bassoon or
audio.
something.
Cool, we added some reverb, made that more distant, less harsh. And we combine some of the elements together.
They start having a mosh pit right when the Jersey club comes in.
I'm so curious, not yet. I'm so curious, follow me. I'm so curious.
You don't notice.
You don't know what?
Is that how it started? Yeah.
So it loops. Perhaps it's made for looping.
Or just like it goes back to the beginning. That's the normal
Or
thing
it's
to
just
do.
it goes back to the beginning.
I mean, like that's a normal thing to do with art. It tends to work for music too. Is just like bring back the beginning in some way, not just like copy paste it, but.
Right, because he did say the same lyrics and the same rhythm, but it doesn't have any instrumental behind it, and it doesn't have the vocal layering that the beginning does. Does that mean that he's alone in all of this?
I mean, he has Lee Young-ji.
He does have a Young-ji, but does he? Anyway, So yeah, what do you think of the production of this track?
It's very clean. Like all the percussion works, and like it's not super dense, but lots of different little things just happening with a lot of clarity in how they're placed in the track.
Yeah, they keep the track interesting while also not taking away the attention from Mark. It really felt as if his rap helped highlight the differences of the track throughout, even if they did repeat, because I believe they did choose like several different loops and they would return at different times, but since his top line would be a little bit different, you'd feel it differently.
For me, that song felt like it was like there was like almost no direction. Like form-wise, like sure it had direction with like the rhythmic complexity and the drive of the whole thing, but I think like direction-wise, it kind of felt like it was just gonna go on forever for me. It almost felt like
kind of like a cipher, right, where it just keeps on going.
Yeah, it felt like you were on drugs listening to this or something. Like the time when everything felt cohesive was at the very end, when they had that like those, I think it's like MIDI brass, like the unison hits with the Jersey club thing going on. That was like when everything just finally fit together for me. But I feel like it almost came out of nowhere. Like everything before was just kind of like, oh, we're here, okay, Jersey club, oh, we're back to like these unison hits, and then it's like it just kind of felt kind of thin.
Yeah, I think I know what he's trying to say, but like the orchestration was like very much like you either had a lot of lows or a lot of highs. You never really had a fullness until the very last chorus, which actually, to its credit, is a very creative way of making the last chorus feel more satisfying. But yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that, especially when there was like that like really West Coast kind of scratchy sound. Like I think that sounded really cool, but there was like nothing else. Like that was the only sound other than rapping. So yeah, as far as the production goes, I wasn't like the biggest fan, but I also do really like super out there kind of beats that are like almost like unpleasant to listen to. And that's a lot of times the point of rap, is to be kind of jarring and to like catch your attention that way. So in that way, I do actually kind of like it. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I would have liked more fullness, but I can kind of get it as well.
I definitely did crave, I understand this, maybe this is a more like cypher-esque song where they're not gonna have anything melodic, but I did crave some of like that kind of like harmony contrast.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm just used to K-pop.
That would have been nice. I also feel like this, like if this is happening in the context of an album, that may well balance out.
True.
Same thing like a multi-movement piece. Like you can get away with a greater extreme in one movement or one track of an album if it's like other ones are gonna balance that out.
Right. I'm kind of glad that he didn't go with the chanty hook. Like we did end with a chanty hook, but every single time the chorus or like returned lyrics happened, it was some fire rapping. I think I really respect that, because sometimes if it's like overall like a rap song, rap piece, they have like this really easy part that everyone can easily like talk along with or shout.
Yeah.
He didn't go that route here, so I really respect that. But it also detracts from the catchiness a little bit. Right now, the only thing that in my head is the
Yeah.
like that's all that's in my head. But I think I ended up a little bit more satisfied than I would have been if it was just like and like the chorus where it's like straight from the get-go. Kind of his flow was like, ooh, ooh.
But as far as the bars go, it's pretty solid. Young G's verse was pretty fire.
Yeah, what attracts you to Young G's rap verse?
For me, it's her voice. I think her voice just
Good voice for rap.
fits this style more than I have heard any other female K-pop artist, try to rap over something. Like they do great. It's just like something I've heard, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, like it's good.
You prefer like a husky,
dark. And then when she started rapping, it was just like, whoa, this feels like actual rap. Like, it just felt very organic. And I think that's really the biggest thing that sold it for me.
Another thing with Youngji's appearance here, oftentimes I love her so much that she is like the standout person in a song from another artist or another group, and like all my attention is drawn to Youngji. However, I think Mark and Youngji in this case are definitely like matching each other's freak, and I love that.
And I feel like they did a good job. Like I like that she's in multiple times. Like this is something I think SM doesn't always get this right, but they get it right with their better ones, like Dessert. Like it's not just like here's 8 bars to Soyeon.
That's it.
Like she keeps coming back. It is overall Hyo's track, but she's prominently featured multiple times. And I like that Youngji also gets to have multiple sections focused on her, and then they're together at the end.
And they are equally fire rhythms. Why do I never get tired of hearing him rap? It's because he's changing up the rhythms, right? How does his flow develop in this?
I think it actually has less to do with the rhythms than. I mean, yeah, he does change up the rhythms a lot. Like, it does get boring when you hear Eminem do his 30-second notes. Yeah, for like an hour. Like, that's really exciting when you're just starting to listen to rap, but that like gets old very quickly. When you do have like more rhythmic complexity than that, and you can do kind of weird things over the beat. He doesn't do that much weird stuff over the beat, but he does slow it down at some points to like make certain words have a little bit more impact. So that I agree with you. The rhythms do carry it, but I actually think their performance of it carries it even more. He's not just using one vocal inflection to say the lines. When a rapper does add like that kind of like, I guess, style or swagger to it, it's like a little bit different. It's a little bit more exciting to listen to.
I don't know, just like every single thing Mark says, I'm like, it's cool. It starts with only bass. I didn't realize. And now we have the. I like that. That was a really nice variation in feel.
Yeah,
new
slow triplets.
subdivisions. And now at this part, even though it's a more simple rhythm, right? It's da 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 da. He's adding a lot more inflection. It's higher in his register. Before it was kind of like mumble, like, and now it's.
That was not mumbly. That was clearly articulated before. It was flatter in contour. I mean, like mumbling, I feel like is like you're not articulating it well, and like that's not at all an issue with Mark.
And now he's like da 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 da.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This does. You know, Espas Kill It. It reminds me of the synth from that.
Yep. This one's a bit deeper, more of the undertones.
Yeah, it's not the same, but it just reminds me of like it's a similar, very buzzy. Synth.
I do have a question for a specific section. The transition into the next section is where maybe I feel the most rhythmically jolted. And why is that?
Okay, Jersey Club, right? And then. Oh, it's just because everything drops out.
But isn't his rhythm no longer just like, it's not straight 8 notes, is it? Isn't it a little syncopated?
To be fair, it wasn't, I guess, yeah, it's straight in this section. But even before that, it was like, it helped on the chord note triplet for a little bit there. Da, 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 da.
Okay. It's because he does the same rhythm. He's repeating the same thing, bum, 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 right?
He's adding like little 16th note triplets in there as well. Da, 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 da,
yeah, but I think the main like grouping is the same, but you kind of get rid of the subdivision under it, so it kind of feels wrong because it's almost like ambiguity of where the beat is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really like solidify itself until the next repeat of this when he starts singing in a more rhythmic way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it almost convinces you there's a tempo change, like a metric modulation. Oh, it's also, oh my gosh, wow. So it's also the agogic accents of the syllables he's using are every other quarter note triplet. So it goes from being, yeah, so it really does feel like a metric modulation.
Oh, so it feels like
one, which is a completely different territory from like it feels like we got here, but then the rhythm comes back in and you realize, no, we're still here. That's really cool. I didn't notice that.
Oh wow, this I haven't realized that there's just like a measure of full acapella there. Got 2 measures.
This is like what I have been looking for from Mark ever since we knew he was going to go solo. So I'm very satisfied.
Yeah.
Even though I know he likes singing better than rapping, but the fans appreciate your hard work even if you like singing better than rapping. Thank you.
This worked well, and I think it worked well as a pre-release. It's high energy. It sets up things, but it's like I imagine the full title track will have that variety with singing in there. That I don't know, but that will be my prediction, is there will be the contrast of singing and rapping in the official title track.
Great. Bye.
Bye.
Cheese.
Well, I think it's 4s in the drums.
Maybe because he loves singing melodies, that adds the melodic like influence to his raps, and that's what brings his raps like next level.
Egg yolks are spherical. What does that mean?